Hi everyone, today we have with us Chairman of Lexicon Business School, Chairman of Pune Mirror, Chairman of Multifit. Sir, that's another story I want to talk about in some other phase where how you are able to manage all the things. मेरे से एक नहीं हो पाता आप इतना कुछ मैनेज कर रहे हैं बट टुडे आई वांट टू फोकस फ्रॉम अ स्टूडेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू फ्रॉम द इंटरव्यूज पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि व्हेन द स्टूडेंट एंटर्स द इंटरव्यू रूम for an interview. So, is first impression the main thing? All those kind of things we'll talk today. So, first thing first, is first impression the last impression?
Hi. So, interestingly, it's never like this. It's whether an interview to a college, interview for a job, or interview for a life partner. It's never the first impression. It is the core. What is there inside? So when you have an interview, you talk to a person, you talk to him not only about his subject, you talk to the person about many other things, trying to understand the core, trying to understand the attitude, trying to understand everything else. So it's you put a lot of things together, and eventually you understand what is this person, what does he constitute, what does he think, how will he behave in the future, and things like that. That's how probably you select a student or a life partner or an employee or anything else for that matter.
Good. So I also compare with shadi.com. Whenever you think of any answer of any interview question, think कि तुम लड़की के डैडी से बात करने जा रहे हो तो वो टू द पॉइंट उतना ही बोलना जितना बोलना चाहिए.
नहीं, इनफैक्ट वो बोलना जो डैडी सुनना चाहते
हैं. Exactly. Very nice. True. So, sir, what is the most important quality which you feel student have? Maybe his confidence, maybe his English communication, his knowledge.
So I'll tell you, confidence is not really the key. I'll tell you why. There is something known as a Dunning-Kruger effect. What happens in that is basically a person who knows nothing is sometimes very very confident because उसको लगता है दुनिया उतनी ही है, कि ये इतनी दुनिया है और मुझे ये पता है, इसका मतलब मुझे सब कुछ पता है, and he's super confident. On the other hand, there is somebody else who's done a lot of research, lot of depth into things, and he knows कि दुनिया इतनी नहीं है. There is so many other things to be done, and then probably his confidence would be a little less because he knows there are so many things which are undiscovered. So it's not really confidence, it is probably the attitude. So I would say कि confidence is something that can be developed. We as an institute can develop, or your brother can develop, your father can develop. You can make a child confident, but confidence is not the only thing. I feel it's one of the aspects.
Right. So attitude, what do you mean by attitude? But how will you check my attitude?
So attitude is basically, is the person ready to learn? That's the biggest thing. Are you moldable? See, when you come into a college, a post graduation college, बोलने के लिए 2 साल है, बट 2 साल होते नहीं है. उसमें छुट्टियां हैं, दिवाली है, क्रिसमस है, इंटर्नशिप्स है, सब मिला के घूम फिर के we have about 1.5 year to mold a students. But is that student moldable? Is he ready to learn? If he's ready to learn, I think that's the key. So that attitude, simply here it means ready to learn. Because 1.5 year you give yourself to any institute. I'm not saying about Lexicon. I'm saying you go to any other place. You go to Jamnalal Bajaj, you go to IIMs, you go wherever. If you are moldable, if somebody can mold you, if somebody can get, एक मूर्ति है ये, भगवान की मूर्ति है, ये मूर्ति तब बनी है जब किसी ने इनको मोल्ड किया है. सो भगवान भी तब बनते हैं जब वो अपने आप को मोल्डेबल बनना देते हैं. सो आर यू मोल्डेबल? इफ यू आर मोल्डेबल, you've got a great attitude. That's what I would think.
Wow, beautiful. Sir, when we talk about the exam point of view, so for example, I've scored less and I'm going to an interview I'm coming to your college with very underconfident कि यार बड़े नंबर कम है मेरे, पता नहीं होगा कि नहीं होगा. So is low marks get affected? Will my admission process get affected by those low marks, or you are fine with that कि ठीक है कम नंबर है चलेगा लेकिन your overall profile is good?
Honestly speaking, low marks will affect the admission process. But the question is, why did you get those low marks? There has to be a reason. If the reason is genuine enough, reason is, there was an exam and mentally you were not stable. There was an exam, your dad was not well. There was an exam and there was something else which is very, very genuine. Now, if because of all of those reasons there is low marks accepted, but by anybody saying that I do not have good marks, but I have everything else, I think it doesn't work. It doesn't work in India. It doesn't work abroad. It doesn't work anywhere else. So as a student, I feel you have to focus on academics. You have to focus on marks. Fortunately or unfortunately, that's one of the ways that you can measure what a student thinks, what a student performs, and his academic intelligence. That's one way to measure. We can't run away from it. So having good marks is
Yes,
probably
ma'am.
one of the very important factors a student should think.
Right. Sir, which all exams are you accepting?
So we've got a little flexibility as compared to the other institutes. So because we are a minority institute, we do not have to stick to uh, CAT exams or MAT. So we will probably, even if a child has not given exams, but he's got great marks in their graduation, and if the student has done exceptionally well, let us say I have a student, let us say, who walks in and he's playing for India. He's playing any game. He could be playing, say, cricket, handball, football, or he could be a guitarist who's represented India in some other country. For me, that student is very, very valuable because that person has caliber, that person has, strength. He is doing something of exceptional level. So I would never look at exams for those students. That student is very, very valuable for us. So exams, yeah, we look at CAT, MAT, ZAT, etc., etc., etc. But if a student has not given an exam, but he's exceptional in some cases, we will go for that.
So profile based kind of thing.
Profile based, absolutely,
Right, great.
absolutely.
So why I ask you this question, because if I relate the both the point, if you score low in one exam, better to give other exam. अभी
Absolutely.
कैट अच्छा नहीं गया, अभी कैट पे बहुत ही पेपर वाज टफ, very tough, and so no problem, there are other exams coming up as well. So that's my answer to all the questions students के भाई तुम बाकी
Yeah.
एग्जाम दो, कोई तो अच्छा जाएगा.
Yeah.
4 एग्जाम देंगे, एक तो पास होगा. इंडियन
Yeah,
स्टूडेंट है हम,
yeah,
कोई तो
yeah.
निकाल ही लेंगे हम.
एंड ऊपर से वो भगवान ऊपर बैठा हुआ है, रोज एग्जाम लेता है आपके. अगर कोई भी एग्जाम नहीं गया और आपको कोई भी कॉलेज नहीं मिला, स्टिल इट डजंट मीन लाइफ इज ओवर. योर लाइफ विल स्टिल
कोई
बी
तो अच्छा
गुड.
कर
या
लेंगे
कुछ तो
ना.
अच्छा होगा इफ यू कंटिन्यू वर्किंग अपॉन योरसेल्फ and you develop yourself, kuch to will happen good with you.
Right. So I've seen the campus, a beautiful campus, the 5-star hotel, and I normally say that. Sir, how much infrastructure matter for a student? अभी एक तरफ सोचा जाए तो यार, मैं किताब पढ़ना, वो जो मम्मी पापा को डाला हुआ था, जिसने पढ़ना वो पेड़ के नीचे बैठ के भी स्टडी कर लेता है. So what is the value of a good infrastructure in a student's career point of view?
So, even I'll say, okay, the institute is good, the infrastructure is nice, but I won't say that's everything for a student. In the end, a student, if he comes to the institute और वहां पर अगर स्विमिंग पूल है, तो वो स्विमिंग पूल अपने साथ घर तो नहीं ले जाएगा, वो स्विमिंग पूल वहीं रह जाएगा. इन दी एंड वो जो ले जाएगा will be education. So, if the education is right in a good infrastructure, then that is what matters. So good infrastructure today has become a norm. आप आज किसी भी मॉल में चले जाओ, सो मॉल में एस्केलेटर्स हैं. ये पहले कहाँ हुआ करता था. सो नाउ दिस इज बिकम अ नॉर्म. So having good infrastructure is no great thing. It's a norm. So I feel we have good infrastructure. Every other college maybe would be having good infrastructures as well. But
नहीं है इसके लिए.
yeah, but I feel hona chahiye because that's a norm. You can't run away from norms. You can't run away from having good lifts, good escalators, good ACs. अब AC आप 40-45 डिग्री टेम्परेचर है और आप अगर बच्चे को बोलोगे कि गर्मी के अंदर बैठ के आप पसीने चोते हुए आप एग्जाम पढ़ाई कर लो. So it's not right for us to expect things like this. So things are changing, institutes have to change. So providing good infrastructure has probably become a norm for the institute.
Right. And it give more conductive environment to students. They feel more comfortable.
Absolutely.
और आजकल के बच्चों का हो भी रहा है ऐसा कि नहीं, हमें वो कंफर्ट जोन में रहना है. एसी देखते हो लोग, कितने एसी लगे रूम में. So that's all.
But नहीं देखना चाहिए, I would say. Yeah, I mean AC होगा, but don't focus on the AC part. Yeah, focus on who the faculty is. Focus on the your placements and focus on everything else. So yeah, but yeah.
Correct. Sir, my last question. This normally you will ask the student why you want to join us, our college, and so I'm asking you this thing: why should I join your college? Because that answer I want them to copy. कि ऐसा आंसर आपको नॉट दिस, ये मत कॉपी करना, बट इस टाइप का आंसर बोलो ताकि बच्चा वो उनको भी लगे कि ये पढ़ के आया है, ही हैव डन अ गुड आंसर.
Okay, I'll tell you from the college point of view, I'll tell you how we would think. You know, a college and student relationship is like a marriage. ये एक शादी की तरह है. A शादी is only successful जब ताली दोनों हाथ से बजती है. अगर एक तरफ से रिलेशनशिप में एफर्ट है और दूसरी तरफ से नहीं है, that शादी will never be successful.
Correct.
It's the same way for a student and a college. So a student has to ensure that he or she attends classes, takes part in activities, does everything that a student is supposed to do in those 2 years. Only then he or she will develop oneself. On the other hand, the college also has to put effort, which means getting good faculty, conducting good seminars, and finally getting in the right companies to the campus. So if the college is not able to get the right companies, the right corporates, then how much ever the student has worked, the student will never eventually get a good kickstart. A kickstart is only available when a college is able to get those right people in the campus. So it's a very, very important thing that the college has to be capable enough, the student has to put in efforts, put them both together, and then you see success for students. That's how it happens. So when you're giving an interview, you've got to always talk to the college, that what is it that you are going to give to the college. Don't think of what the college is going to give to you. You have to understand that अपना बताओ कि आप क्या दे सकते हो.
True. Wow, right. Good. So last question.
You said last before this also.
Sir, that's my problem. That I do my students also complain कि आधा घंटा सर खींचते हो आप. Last question. Sir, because the way we are talking, मेरे को बहुत कुछ और पूछने का है.
No, go ahead.
Inquisitive about these things. So last thing, सच्ची last वाला अभी से from student point of view, उसके लिए maths, verbal, logic सब कुछ पढ़ना है. How to handle so many things. And if I go one level up, my level handling Thane, Dadar, Vashi, all the location, how to handle this, how you're handling so many companies. So if that mantra you can give us, so that we can also apply in our life, how to handle now interview preparation, then maths ka preparation, verbal ka preparation.
Oh, this is a little different from how you would handle your different areas of preparation. You've got to do it yourself. In my case, I have to have the right people doing it for me. So if I look at it from the corporate side, fortunately we've got a team. So if there is somebody else who's handling a media business, so that person is an experienced person with the right attitude, who's come in, who's handling that. Somebody who's handling the education business. So now I'll tell you, education, we've got one person. He was basically a general manager of Westin Hotel, and then he was also a director in Marriott. So he was never from education, but he's come to handle education group. Now that's a very interesting thing. A person who's not from education and coming and handling education is basically because he had all the connects from all the corporates. He had a different thought, which was just not so narrow. He had a wider thought. So we thought, let's come up with something which can give more to the students. So can it just be just education? Is life only about physics, chemistry, logic, data? Is life just that, or life is beyond that? So can we put everything together when a student walks into the Lexicon Management Institute? Are you just trying to teach him the subjects, or are you trying to teach him life? I tell you, if we are able to do that, if we teach him subjects, we teach him the meaning of life, we teach him attitude, we teach everything together, and look at that holistic development and just see where the student can go. So that's the key, I feel. Getting in right people to head the institutes, or right people to head the corporates that you are looking at, I think that's the key.
Wow, great. So maybe if I a lesson for student, maybe the right teachers or the right books they can choose to study from. I think that can be a stepping stone for their, at least.
I agree with you. So very few now students are reading. I feel sometimes it is not about the right book or the wrong book. It is about, is there a book? I mean, it's as basic as that. So if you start reading, you don't know how it helps. And If you are reading today, you will probably read one page in about half an hour. But if you got a habit of reading, that same thing will finish in about 2.5 minutes. So, which means if you've got to read a lot of stuff, eventually when you join any company, and if that is a big thick book, and if you can finish that entire thing in about 1.5 hour, you don't know how you probably excel in that place,
Correct.
because reading will never stop. Today we may look at YouTubes, we may look at Instagram, we may look at videos, but if you don't have that habit of reading, this will somewhere hamper you tomorrow. So I feel reading is probably very, very important.
So everything boiled on same starting point. Learning is the learning attitude is the most important.
Is important, and I'll tell you, don't forget कि भाई ये 1.5 2 साल बहुत important है जब learning, ये this is the time when there is input. After that, when you start working, that is the time that will be output. Then your boss will never expect कि भाई आप सीख क्या रहे हो, आप मुझे दे क्या रहे हो. वो बॉस बोला देने, अब आप देने की बात करो. So आज आप उस स्टेट में हो where you are not talking about giving, you are talking about taking. So take as much as you can. जो आप आज लोगे, अंदर भरोगे, वही चीज बाहर निकलेगी. अगर अंदर कुछ नहीं जाएगा तो बाहर क्या निकलेगा. So this is the time when you have to learn as much as you can, whether Lexicon Institute of Management, whether any other place you go, but that learning is the key. You have to learn.
Wow, great. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.